start out just by saying we we as citizens, any of us can be selected for jury duty, whatever, things like that. And it's our due diligence to uphold that. If we get selected for jury duty, excuse me, we have to do everything in our power. Well, we have to be there's no way to get out of it. We have to be there. We have to do it. But that's our due diligence. But normal citizens, everyday citizens in their communities have a due diligence as well, I believe, to look at the facts of every situation instead of the hearsay or what the media portrays. Because 99.999% of the time, the media is either embellishing information that's one sided, and in the case of Ferguson, the media has been embellishing a one sided, racial driven agenda that has been pushing people to the limit. And that to me feels like, I don't know, that's just wrong. And I know it's wrong. And most of the people I've talked to about it have understood that it's wrong too. And it's just, it's not healthy for the community right now, especially, I'm sure there's thousands of cameras out in Ferguson right now that are shooting everything they can, and interviewing people and getting in people's faces and just making their presence known, I'm sure. And the media makes things like this worse. uh God, just, I don't know. I could ramble on and on about the media and the horrible job they're doing, covering this Ferguson trial, or not trial, excuse me, but this whole Ferguson case. Um, yeah, I'm sure many people could go on for days and days about the media. But anywho, there are some facts that come out of this whole Ferguson deal, and I want to start off by just reiterating a couple of those facts. Number one being, um, surveillance video showed Michael Brown stealing cigarillos from a convenience store, strong arm robbing this guy, pushing him out of the way, um, just walking straight out of the door with the cigarillos that he didn't pay for. This is just minutes before his altercation with Darren Wilson. Now, I commented on a post on Facebook last night, and somebody had made mention of the surveillance video that's out of him. Oh, excuse me. I guess I need my coffee. Sorry. But somebody had made mention about the surveillance video out of him, uh strong arm robbing that store. And I made a comment, a pretty long, lengthy comment about it. And out of this whole ongoing situation, I've I've probably heard the words unarmed black teen probably 10,000 times, probably more. And it's probably been said way more than that because I haven't been able to watch constantly. And even in the past 2 or 3 days that I've actually been watching and following it like day by day by day, I hear that at least 100 times a day. Unarmed black teen, unarmed black teen. Darren Wilson shot an unarmed black teen. Yeah, he was unarmed, and yes, he was 18, which, if I remember correctly, 18 is, you're considered an adult here in the United States. So they're clinging on to the fact that he's a teenager, but you're still a teenager when you're 19. So there's kind of a gray area there. The media is clinging to that teenager and showing his pictures from 6 years ago when he looked like he was 12. And I just don't think the media is doing the right thing by doing that. They're portraying him negatively. That's not how he looks now. That's not how he was. He didn't look like a 12-year-old boy when he decided to get in an altercation with Darren Wilson. So, sorry, I don't want to get off on a wild tangent, but it's fact. It's fact. So I've heard unarmed black teen probably 10,000 times, but I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen any news network, not just CNN, not Fox, any news network. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen that video played or anybody make mention of the fact that he was committing a felony minutes before the altercation he got into with Darren Wilson. So that's fact number one. That's the fact that everybody should know. And I guarantee that there's probably people out there that are riding across the not riding, I say riding, but there's probably people across the country that are in these protests, just to be in the protest. And that's another thing that's driving me up the wall. And there's probably people that don't even know that he did that. They think he's just some innocent young kid. So that is just due to the lack of media, or it's not lack of media. The media is oversaturating right now, but the problem is they're oversaturating with a single-sided, race-driven agenda, and that's what's wrong. Um, autopsy reports showed that he had marijuana in his system when he died. That, I mean, that doesn't mean really anything to me. It's that who knows the count of people that have at least done marijuana once or twice in their whole lives. So that's not something you can base an argument on. It's just marijuana. It's just a fact. He had marijuana in his system when he died. I don't look at that either way. Um, you know, in Officer Wilson's testimony, he said when he first encountered Brown and his friend, they were walking down the middle of the street. So he told them to walk on the sidewalk. Hey, how about walking on the sidewalk? And Brown popped one right back off at him. Just, I don't know what he said, probably something like F you or something like that. Because it says Brown responded with an expletive. So instead of just doing what he was asked by a law enforcement officer, instead of getting out of the middle of the road, he chose to take that route. He made the conscious decision to verbally defy and openly defy a police officer. In this day and age, when you do that, something bad is probably going to happen because there's just there's no nonsense, and zero tolerance about that stuff now. So when you openly defy a law enforcement officer and verbally defy him, something is going to come out of it. You're not just going to get away with it. Sorry. And that's the day and age we live in now. And there's nothing that we can do about it except continue to go about our daily lives and just listen to the police when they have something within reason they want us to do. We should do it. Getting out of the street and getting onto the sidewalk where pedestrians belong wasn't that big of a task. That's all that he needed to do. So we know, I'm sure you guys have been following, but Wilson tried to open his car door. Brown slammed it back shut, punched Wilson in the face. Some witnesses back that up, some don't. So Wilson drew his gun after a little bit of a scuffle. Wilson drew his gun, and Brown grabbed the gun and said, "You're too much of a pussy to shoot me." So, of course, that I don't know if that's been a confirmed fact, but this is stuff that Officer Wilson has said, and I mean, if that's the case, then Michael Brown was just being as rebellious as he could, fighting it to the end, I guess. And there was even a black witness that confirmed that it looked like Brown and Wilson were arm wrestling inside his car. So, I don't know. It gets me fired up thinking about it, really. And the problem with it is from what I understand, Ferguson police have been losing the trust of the Ferguson community for a while before that had happened. So it's hard to know when all these witness testimony, with these eyewitness, I say eyewitness in quotations because some, well, we now know that not that some of the quote eyewitnesses weren't actually eyewitnesses at all. They just had heard somebody else's story and stuck to that story and said that they saw it happen. So, but what I was saying was, the Ferguson police had seemed to have started losing the trust of the Ferguson community from the get go. Um, and before the Michael Brown and Darren Wilson thing had happened, it seemed like they were starting to go downhill with the community. So I can't help but wonder, and this is just pure speculation on my end. I can't help but wonder if the fact that Darren Wilson was a white cop and Michael Brown was a black man, if the witnesses decided in their own minds that they were gonna, this is their chance to get back at Ferguson Police Department. They might not have seen it, and they might have seen they probably did see everything happen exactly the way that it did, you know, and decided that they were gonna make Darren Wilson look bad, and they were gonna make it. Uh, they were just gonna make it as bad as it could be on his end, just in order to maybe it was to help cover Michael Brown, but maybe just maybe it was an attempt to further separate the community from the Ferguson Police Department. So, with that being said, I'm gonna take a break real quick. We'll get some coffee, and we'll get back. Uh, there's so much I want to say, but only so much time I have. So, we're gonna take a break real quick. Come back. We'll get back going. And we're back. So, uh, I don't know. This whole situation has just been way over the top with unnecessary racism, um, super unnecessary media bias, and it's pretty much hit its full stride. And the sad part is there's not really a lot that there's nothing there isn't anything that we can do about it. Uh, the only thing we can do about it is vote better people in. But I mean, what is that going to change? So yeah, I just everybody has been asking, what would be the differences if this was a case of a black cop shooting a white guy, or a white unarmed teen. There's people saying that there wouldn't be the same media coverage, and you know what? I'm starting to believe that there probably wouldn't be. CNN wouldn't be all over that. Fox News wouldn't be all over that. So it's just in the I don't know, the way that some people have been responding to this has just been appalling to me. It's hard to believe that you know we live in it's almost 2015, you know, and we're just out here acting childish, man. And to the people who are part of these protests that are in LA and New York and places that are miles away from Ferguson, Missouri. I seen on CNN last night. I was watching one of their live streams on my iPad, and I was watching it last night, and they panned across this crowd of people that were protesting in quotations. They panned across this crowd of people in New York. Um, a vast majority of them were white. Not saying that there's anything bad about that, but I'm just painting you the picture here. A vast majority of them were white, and probably at least, I don't know, 60 or 70% of the people that were out there were laughing, smiling, carrying on like they were at a big party. They're out there for the wrong reasons. They're out there to make themselves get that sense of, oh, I'm bucking the system. I'm doing my this is my civil disobedience. They're out there having a party, carrying on, having fun, making a disgrace and a mockery of the people who are really actively trying to peacefully protest in Ferguson for their cause. Whether or not we agree on the fact that they should be protesting or not is beside the point. The point of the fact of the matter is they have the right to protest, and they're getting made a mockery of by all these other people and all these other wannabes that think that they're out there protesting for something. They might wear shirts and they might walk around with their hands in the air saying "hands up, don't shoot." But little do they realize that they're just making a fool of themselves, and they're making Michael Brown's family and the protesters in Ferguson look bad. That's my opinion. I'm sure people have differing opinions, but anywho, that's pretty much what's been on my mind about it. I just the thing it's been killing me so much. But here's the problem: the media has been driving me insane, but I don't want to stop watching it because I want to see what happens. I want to see it as it unfolds, but it's like a catch 22. You get the information, it's not good information because it's all one-sided and it's all biased and it's all black versus white, especially on CNN. If you guys uh sorry, I just got a text message. Um if you guys I just lost my train of thought, but I don't know. Oh, here we go. What I was saying is if you guys watch CNN for 30 minutes, I guarantee it that you will see some kind of black versus white, or you're going to see the words unarmed teen probably 55,000 times. What's funny is almost pretty much 90% of the interviews that I've seen on CNN, I've been watching it probably for the past 2 or 3 days since I'm off work right now from a surgery. And I've been watching it the past 2 or 3 days as the whole situation has developed and whatnot. But almost when there's been more than one person that they've been interviewing at a single time, it's been one white person and it's been one black person. And I'm not kidding you about this. If you've been watching CNN, you understand. It's been one white person and one black person. And the black person has always been from Michael Brown's side of the story, and the white person has predominantly been for Darren Wilson's side of the story. Now, how does that add up every single time, you guys? On CNN, they do this every single time. They have a white man and a black man, and they pit them against each other to get the best outcome, so they can get the best ratings. And it's annoying. It's utterly annoying. It's distasteful. It's disgraceful. And it's like they go out and they find people specifically to get on there and interview. Oh, you're a black man that supports Michael Brown. Here, come over here. Let's talk. Oh, you're a white person that supports Darren Wilson. Come over here. Let's put you guys within 2 feet of each other and let each other go at it on camera. That's the way that I feel that CNN is handling. They're handling it like a bunch of children, and putting Darren Wilson's address out for everybody to see, so people could see where he lives. Um, if something were to come of that, if somebody were to go to Darren Wilson's house, threaten him, break in, whatever, attempt to harm him. I would hope that the news outlet, the media outlet that released that private information would have some kind of criminal charges brought against them, because that is ridiculous. You know, that's just ridiculous. But I don't know. This has been going on for 21 minutes now. I need to wrap it up. But I had to get on here, and I just had to kind of tell you guys what, because I didn't really go in depth of what I was really feeling about it yesterday, and I just wanted to get on here and just kind of vent a little bit. Because, man, being cooped up in the house watching CNN all day, it'll get to you after a while. So, anyways, well, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Josh Billiot. It's JoshBilliot. And or you can find me on Facebook. All that good stuff. And if you haven't already, if you feel like it, go ahead and hit like and click subscribe, and we'll be doing some more videos here pretty soon. But thank you guys for listening, and talk to you guys later.